In my video on emotionally healthy social structures or emotionally well-regulated social structures, as I call it in my book, The Power of Emotions at Work, I talked about how these structures can support leaders. It's clear that the 9 features of an emotionally well-regulated social structure would protect workers, right? It would make their lives easier. It would make their motivation more kind of certain, and it would help sort of ease and smooth out many of the social and emotional issues that most workplaces create because they don't understand how to build an intentional community or intentional social structure. But this emotionally well-regulated social structure also protects leaders. I run 4 businesses, and I've been a leader of businesses for many, many decades. And what I found about leadership is that it can be very isolating if you do it wrong. Uh, if you don't have an emotionally well-regulated social structure around you, and remember that it's a place where emotions and empathy and problems and conflicts and the ability to speak openly exist in a healthy context. If you don't have that, then you are not going to have the freedom you need to keep growing as a person. And I've seen many leaders just become sort of calcified around their behaviors, almost as if it's like a lucky rabbit's foot that they don't, they don't know how they don't know how they became a leader. They don't really understand what's going on with them. And so they just sort of, this is how I do it. And this is how we always do it, my way or the highway. You can get calcified really quick as a leader if you're in an emotionally unregulated social structure. What I've found about leadership is that it will challenge every part of you. It will challenge every ridiculous way that your family taught you to do this, that, or the other thing. Every silly idea you've had about emotions or empathy. Every pointless way that you think life works, but it turns out it only works that way for you if someone would just tell you about it, right? And leadership challenges you continually to become, to sort of let go of your silly ideas and your ridiculousness and your stubbornness about how we do things. And if you're an emotionally well-regulated social structure, you have the freedom to, and the flexibility to remain a human being and not become some caricature of leader. That you can say to people in an emotionally well-regulated structure, man, I failed so hard. This is failure. This is what failure looks like. And to be able to have it be a normal everyday part of your life, to say, you know what, I had this idea about how this was going to work. I had this great idea. We spent money on it. It was going to be this awesome process. And what I'm noticing is that it has slowed everything down. It doesn't work for who we are, and it's a mess, and I apologize. And so everybody, what would work better, right? Now, in an emotionally well-regulated social structure, you probably wouldn't have got that far of implementing something that doesn't work, right? People would have stopped you beforehand, but you can start to create an emotionally well-regulated structure at any point. It's never too late to have a happy childhood, right? It's never too late to become a more humane and human leader. And this kind of structure where you can be a person who fails, and you can be a person who doesn't understand things, and you can be a person who has great ideas that turn out to be really absurd, and you can be a person, then leadership is not going to damage you. But if you are in an unhealthy social structure where you cannot be a person, leadership will damage you. And it may damage your emotional and social capacities. If you're in a hierarchy, it will likely damage your empathy. Hierarchies are reliably damaging to empathy at all stages of the hierarchy. At the lower parts of the hierarchy, you will generally see hyper empathy, too much empathy, because it's a it's a very unbalanced structure. And so in a social structure, people start to create the balance for a structure that's broken. So you'll see hyper empathy at the lower levels of hierarchies. And then as you come up higher and higher, empathy tends to reduce. So at the top of hierarchies, like with CEOs, the top of a police force, military, in the medical world is extremely hierarchical. You will find people with very low empathy, and some people have said that, you know, as many as 50% of CEOs could be classified as sociopathic, which is to have very low empathy. But there's not that many sociopaths. It's a relatively rare condition. What we're seeing with CEOs and people at the top of the medical or military or, you know, any of those hierarchical organizations, we are seeing the damage that social structure does to human beings. Hierarchies are they are damaging in and of themselves. If you've got one and you can't get rid of it, right? If there's some reason that you need to have a hierarchy, I would say why. But if you feel like, you know, you can't get rid of it, it becomes crucial for a hierarchical social group to have emotionally well-regulated social structure that I talked about in the previous video. It's crucial. It will protect the hyperempathy from, it will stop that from needing to happen because there's hypoempathy at the top. There's a reduced empathy at the top. It will help the people at the top regain their empathy, because empathy is an emotional skill, and your capacity to empathize is directly connected to your capacity to work with emotions. So if you don't know how to work with emotions, I don't care how much empathy training you have, your empathy will not be full-fledged. It will not be full-bodied because you don't have the building blocks of empathy in place. It's why developing an emotionally well-regulated social structure where people have functional emotional vocabularies is so crucial, because that's how empathy is built. And so if you're in a structure that is damaging to empathy, as all hierarchies are, it's crucial that you help people develop the 9 features of an emotionally well-regulated social structure, so the structure won't damage you, right? And as a leader, if you can slap down the rows of hierarchy as much as you can, as many layers as you can get rid of, do. I think there's a lot of research saying that we have way too many managers. Most hierarchical organizations have 2 or 3 times as many managers as they should have. So you save money, you save people's jobs, like get them into a job that they're actually doing something and not just managing people. You shouldn't manage people, manage processes, but don't manage people. That's just not how you do that. People manage themselves in an emotionally well-regulated social structure. So think about this. If you're a leader, do you have the freedom to be a fully functioning human being who learns and grows and evolves? Or have you become a hierarchically, empathically damaged, kind of calcified thing? That is no way to be. That is no way to live. And that structure doesn't deserve to continue, because if it's damaging you, and if it's damaging you, it's damaging the people below you. It needs to go. It needs to go. There are books about how to develop egalitarian social structure or flat social structures that do not rely so heavily on a hierarchical power game. And how there are also books about how to share power, not to have power over people, but to have power with people, and to really fully humanize the workplace so that you as a leader can maintain your human life and your human dignity rather than being damaged for no good reason that I can think of. So emotionally well-regulated social structure, it's not just a good idea. It will actually support you, it will protect you, it will protect everyone in the community. Because if you remember from the first videos, research has suggested that over 120,000 Americans die each year, not from workplace accidents, but from the social and emotional despair that the workplace creates. So there is no value to maintaining the workplace in the way we've done it before. And in The Power of Emotions at Work, I give you a blueprint and a way out. It's really not hard. It's not hard. It's only hard if you sit in a hierarchy thinking that's what we have to be. We need to be like a formalized bureaucratic structure. No, you don't. No, you don't. Right? Shake it off. Let's make the great resignation into the great evolution and humanize the workplace. Bring the emotions back. They never left. And protect everyone so that we can all do a good day's work, get our work done, and live our lives as happy, healthy people. Thank you.